You can download Symfony 2 from the Symfony.com website. When you download Symfony, it's basically a pre-built application along with a framework library that you can install and begin customizing right away. The website you'll specifically download at is symfony.com/download, and you'll see you have a few options of how you want to download it. You can download in zip or in tar format, and additionally, you can download without vendors. Without vendors means it's not going to include the core Symfony and Doctrine and other libraries with it. You can grab those later when you go to deploy your application or when you're developing. This can be advantageous if you want to make sure you have the latest version of your vendors and make it easy to download and install. Additionally, you can download from Git. Symfony is available at the github.com website in the repository github.com/symfony/symfony. Once you've downloaded Symfony, you'll then want to extract your application from your zip file or your tarball, and then copy that directory and paste it into the web root of your PHP server. In this case, I'm using MAMP, so I'm going to go into the htdocs, and I'm going to paste it directly in the htdocs in a folder named Symfony. You can name this what you want. This will be what the URL is. Symfony is just fine. There are a couple of command line tools that will help you get set up. One of them is called the check PHP, and this will make sure that everything is necessary and PHP is configured correctly to run Symfony. In your command line interface, you'll want to first go to the directory where you installed Symfony. So we're going to cd applications/mamp/htdocs/Symfony. Now we're going to use the PHP command line interface and point to app/check.php. One thing to keep in mind when you run this is that it uses the PHP ini file to determine what the settings are. The PHP ini file, in my case, is running from Mac OS X's default PHP server. That is not the same PHP ini file that I'm using for MAMP. So these may or may not be the correct settings, but it's a good thing to check if you know you're using the right PHP ini file. So that's one thing to be aware of. If you know that it's using the right PHP ini file, then you can see that it's checking the version, and it will also make sure that the date.timezone setting is set. In my case, it's telling me it's not set, but I know that MAMP actually already has that set in its PHP ini file, so I'm pretty sure I'm okay, but I wanted to show you how to use this command line interface. There's also a special config.php file that will check your Symfony installation inside of your web environment. So we're going to go to that file, and it's going to be at localhost:8888. If you're using another PHP server like WAMP or XAMPP, you're not going to have to worry about that port number. And then we'll go into symfony/web/config.php. So it says, welcome to your new Symfony project, and it will give you some recommendations about what you should do in order to make sure that Symfony is configured properly for your environment. Most of these are done inside of the PHP ini file, so make sure you've done it to the correct PHP ini file for one thing, and that you restart the server to make sure that those changes will take effect. In my case, I don't have any alerts, I only have recommendations. So let's go ahead and take a look at the demo app we're going to use. This particular one is at web/app, and we're going to go to the dev environment, which is _dev.php. You'll see when it loads up my document and my application, and it also shows me this debug bar at the bottom. This debug bar can be really valuable because it will tell you different information about what's going on. For example, you can see it's going to the welcome controller, calling the index action method. It also shows you how long it took for it to load. So that's the basic of getting Symfony downloaded and installed. All the main files we need to get started, including some demos that have bundles using the main constructs of the framework, like authentication and security, are installed, and we can customize or we can remove them. The next step is going to be creating our own bundles and building our own application.